Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing fine at home. I am your teacher Neha and today we are going to see a lesson from chemistry 9th standard and it is the regular chapter which is water and today is the 5th part of this lesson. So children, in this lesson we are going to discuss about something which you can see over here. What's happening here? Yes, something has been added and it is just mixed and then you get a pure solution, right? Yes, you got me correct. So this is the lesson which we are going to talk only about solutions. So let's go to the chapter. So children, what does a solution means? So solution means when you are taking a solid substance and you add it in a solution or in a water, then you will see that everything gets mixed up properly and finally the homogeneous part which you are getting, that part is known as solution. What is that part, children? That part is known as solution. So again I will repeat it. Take a small amount of solid, add it into a liquid and when you get a homogeneous, what it is this? Homogeneous substance or liquid, then this particular substance will be known as a solution and the formation of solution is known as dissolution. What it is? Dissolution. Okay? Yes. So this is the basic of this part which is solution part. Okay? So now let's see what is there in this part. So children, generally whenever you are talking about a solution should be a thing which should be always properly mixed, which is a homogeneous type. Same way there are few properties of having a pure or a true solution. So the first property of having a perfect solution, the first thing is a solution or a true solution should always be clear and transparent. What does transparent mean, children? Yes, transparent means you can see through that. See here, if there is a water, right? So in this water you can see through that. You will see that what is there behind. So that is known as transparent. Same way, if you want to discuss about the second point, the second point is once you are adding the small particle which is a salt or a sugar inside the water, what should happen is you should not see anything settle down. Okay? Everything should dissolve properly. So what is the second point? Dissolvation should be complete. Should be complete. Okay? Then after getting a complete solution, what you have to do is you have to check whether this solution you are pouring a filter paper over this. Then you should see that all the solution should pass through it. So the third point is a true solution should pass through filter paper. Then there is one more property to become a true solution and the property is it should be homogeneous solution. So what it should be? It should be a homogeneous solution. Homogeneous. Okay? Yes. Then after that, let's come to the fifth property and the fifth property is a particle should not settle down. What is the fifth property, children? Fifth property is no particle should settle down. Okay, and the last one is, after doing the solution properly, after it gets mixed up, you should see that a solution should always be a clear solution, plus you can recover the solute. What you can do? Sixth one is recovery of solute. Okay, so these are the main 6 properties how a true solution can be there. Okay, yes. So now let's come, what are the main terms which you are going to use in formation of a solution. So children, the first one is, here if you are talking about a solution, so solution means a substance which is a clear solution. What it is? It is homogeneous. Okay. After homogeneous solution, you should know that how a solution is being made. So the second word is solvent. So anything which you take in a larger content or a larger amount is known as a solvent. So what is a solvent? Taken in large amount. Okay? Yes. Then let's talk about the solute. So if you are taking something in larger, it is solvent. The other word comes to the solution, and solute is a substance which is taken in a smaller proportion. You can take it as taken in small amount. Okay? Yes. And finally, let's come to the topic of concentration of solution. So children, concentration of solution, let me give you an example. So I have 2 cups of tea. In 1 cup, I have added 1 spoon of sugar. Same way, in the second cup, I have added 3 spoons of sugar. So when you are tasting it, you will find that the second cup is even more sweeter, right? So that way you can say that the amount or the concentration of sugar, the sweetness of sugar in the second cup is higher. Same way, if the amount of the solvent remains same, but there is increase in the amount of solute, then you can call it as a concentrated solution. Okay? Solute will be taken in larger amount and the solvent will be same. So these are the 4 terms which we are going to talk. Yes. So now let's discuss what here the things are there. So here you can see that the small substance, right? I told you what is the small amount of substance. The small amount is known as a solute. And here you can see water. So water is taken in larger amount. So what is water? Water is solvent. And when the solute plus solvent is there, you are getting a clear solution, and this clear solution is known as solution, right? Yes. So after this, now let's come to the different parts of the solution. So children, there are mainly 5 types of solution. So one is dilute, then supersaturated, then concentrated, it's saturated and unsaturated. So first let's see what is a dilute solution. So children, I'll take an example. When something like solvent, for example water, if in something there is more amount of water present, then that particular solution will be known as dilute solution. So what is less here? Is less. Okay? Same way, if you want to discuss about the concentrated solution, you will say that the amount of solute will be higher. That is, I gave the example of sugar, right? Yes. So concentrated means solution, and here solute will be having high, but the solvent will be of normal. Okay? Then let's come to the saturated solution. So children, for example, if I take salt, now in this salt, here I take 100 ml of water. Now when I add 1 spoon, you will see that it's mixing. Then again 1 more spoon I will add, again it will mix. Then I will add, just keep on adding until you will see that some kind of salt is remaining. So when you can just keep on adding. So when you are just keeping on adding and it's getting mixed, that solution will be known as unsaturated solution. Same way, at a point when your solvent is no more getting mixed, that point is known as saturated solution, and then comes the supersaturated solution. So children, supersaturated means when you are getting the saturated solution, and in that you just remove the solid particles and you start heating it. You will see that when you are heating it, the solution again becomes a clear solution, but just take the hot one and keep it aside. You will see that some crystals are formed. The formation of crystal is known as supersaturated solution. Okay? Yes. So now let's take an example. So here the example I have taken solution as water. So what is this? This is water, which is a solvent. Then to the solvent I am adding copper sulphate, and copper sulphate is my solute. Now I have added only 1 spoon, right? So when I am adding only 1 spoon, you will see that one clear solution is formed, and this clear solution is known as unsaturated solution. Okay? What is this? Unsaturated solution. Again, if I keep on adding, you will see that something is getting settled down. So when something is getting settled down, you will call it as a saturated solution. So what it's called as? Saturated solution. Okay? And furthermore, if you just keep on adding and you are seeing that it becomes crystal, then it will be known as super saturated. Okay? Yes. Okay children? Yeah. So now let's see here the another form. So here also you can see that what is a supersaturated solution. So unsaturated means you can dissolve more solute. Saturated solution means now you cannot add more solute because they are getting settled down, they are not mixing now. Same way, supersaturated means the solution will become unstable and it will start forming crystals. Okay? Yes. Now let's see what are the factors which are affecting the solubility. Okay? The first factor is the size of the solute. What is this? Size of solute. So here you can see that if the size is bigger, then the dissolving will be little bit difficult. But same way, if the size is smaller, the dissolving or the making up of a solution will be easier. Same way, there is another content and it is agitation. What it is? Agitation. Agitation means stirring. So for example, now I have taken small size of my solute. Now this small size I added in 2 beakers. In one beaker I just put that small solid, and in another one I will add and I will start mixing it. Which one will get mixed faster children? Yes, the second one will get faster or mix faster because you are just stirring it. So stirring will increase the rate of becoming a solution. And the last one here is the temperature. So generally you will see that whenever you are increasing the temperature, the solubility will also increase, but there are few exceptions in which if you increase the temperature, then the solubility will decrease. So that we are going to see now. So students, now let's see how to differentiate between a saturated and an unsaturated solution. So if you are adding a solute and it gets mixed up, then this type of solution will be known as a unsaturated solution. Same way, when you are keeping on adding the solute and you will see that it does not mix further, then this will be known as a saturated solution. Okay? So this is the easiest way how you can differentiate between saturated and unsaturated solution. Yes? Yeah. So now let's see what is the solubility of a solute. So children, whenever we are talking about solubility, we will check the weight of the solute, the weight of the solvent, and when these two mix together, what is the weight of your solution. So whenever you are taking some grams of a solute and adding inside the 100 ml of solvent, which is water, that if it gets mixed up properly, that will be known as the solubility of the solute at that particular temperature. That temperature can be a room temperature also. So if you need to find what is the solubility, how you can find the solubility is, you can write solubility of solute will be equal to the weight of the solute divided by the weight of the solvent. What it is? Weight of solute by weight of solvent. So now children, this formula, if you need to find the percentage, what you can do is, you can just multiply by 100, okay? Yes. So just example, here I have told you that if directly they have given what is the weight of the solute and what is the weight of the solvent, easily you can just put on the formula and you can do it. But for example, if they don't give you what is the weight of the solvent, but they give you what is the weight of the solution. So what you have to do is, here you can write solubility is equal to W1. So what is W1? W1 is weight of the solute. Then W1 divided by W minus W1 multiplied by 100. So here children, W is the weight of your solution and W1 is the weight of your solute. So solution minus solute, you will get the weight of the solvent. This is the way how you can find the solubility. So it's a easy procedure, right? Yes. So now let's see why and how the solubility depends on different products. So first of all, it will depend upon the nature of the solute. So if a solute is acidic, or if it is a basic, or if it is a neutral, the solubility will differ. Same way, nature of solvent. If it is water, then the property will be changing. If it is something else like alcohol, ether, benzene, then the solubility will change. And the last one is temperature. So children, according to the temperature, then can be increase in the solubility or decrease in the solubility, or both, increase first and decrease. So now let's see what are the processes. So there are a few examples, children. Now first, if you are taking the example of NaCl, NaCl is common salt. So what happens is, when you are adding the common salt in water, you will see that after some time it does not mix. Then you will think that let us heat it. But you will see one thing, that even after heating it does not completely mix. So you can say that the solubility of NaCl changes very less when you are increasing the temperature. Same way, some substances like slaked lime, that is hydroxide of calcium, it can be different chlorides also. What will happen is, they do not mix in hot water, but they will easily mix in cold water. So here temperature will increase, but solubility will decrease. Then calcium sulfate is an example where if you are increasing the temperature, the mixing, the solubility will also increase. And sugar potassium is also what is happening here is, if you are just adding and you are increasing the temperature, you will see that they are getting soluble. And the last one is substances like potassium nitrate. Here the solubility will increase very fast. What happens is, even if small amount of heat is given, the mixing, the solubility or the solution making will be faster. Okay? Yes. So students, after that there are three major things and three major components where you can see that some solids will show that solubility will remain unchanged. The example which I gave was sodium chloride. Then the substance which solubility decreases with increase in temperature, which is the hydroxide of calcium. Then solids whose solubility increases with the increase in temperature, the best example is sugar. Okay? Yes, student. So students, in this lesson, I hope you have enjoyed and you have understood what are all things we have discussed, right? Yes. Hope we meet next time with a better video and a much likable topic. Until then, bye bye.